make that thing happen. Okay?
Yes.
You're coming up 76, 77. The 4/4 is becoming the standard, the 4-kick sound.
Mm-hmm.
Where's you talk about doing that Chinese type of rhythms and stuff. Are you now at the beginning, like listening to what was going on in Philly to help you create what you were getting?
Yes.
Like, what's part of these pieces of engineering?
Here's the thing. I felt that the music that we were making in New York could never compete with the Philly International. That was on another level. They were up here, we were down here. Listen, I'm never going to get that twisted. They had the best musicians that money can buy, and they were a unit. You knew Vince Montana was on the vibes. You knew that Baker, Harrison, Young. Those guys were there. They had the best musicians. They had the best recording studio. They were at Sigma Sound, the Cream de la Cream recording studios. We were different. We had to make those records quickly because we needed to get that check. We needed to have to go pay that rent. We had to go buy that car. We didn't have the luxury of like a Quincy Jones. You could take 5 years to make an album. Guess what? If I had the money and somebody was paying me $1 million to make an album, guess what? It'd be just as good as a Michael Jackson album because you got 5 years to make it. We didn't have that luxury. When you lived in New York City, it was hustle, bustle. Make that dance record, get paid, go to the next one. Make that record, get paid, go to the next one. Because we're trying to survive. And if we want to live, here's some real talk. We want to live like the rich white producers. We couldn't. They can make records at a slower pace, but they were getting 5 times more than we were getting for doing the same music. You have to understand, people have to understand that. When we were out here, the labels weren't there for us. I'm here to tell you, none of those labels, they never said, hey, Darryl, let's teach you the business. Let me have a good conversation with you. You're a smart guy. Let us teach you the record business. They teach you nothing. They want to get your music in those dance days, use you. Once you realize what time it is and you realize you're being used, they'll get some more people they can do this with. So there's this layers and layers of people that they can use. What made me different at the end, Lenny, is I outsmarted them. Because I said, you know what? I might not own the rights to a lot of music I made back in the day, but I own the rights to 100,000 masters that I bought and I own. I bought, 9 music labels where I own all the rights to the music. And I did that almost in retaliation for how they treated me. So I would buy TV show rights. I started a company in 2004 called the Legends of Classic Soul. We did 50 artists, Dennis Edwards' Temptations, The Whispers, The Shy-Lights, The Dramatics, The Dells, Ray Goodman and Brown. We did them all, to preserve, soul music or R&B music so we can, preserve this, so we can have this for generations and generations to come. Now, I'm right in the middle of an IPO with the company I have called StreamNet TV. We have technology. So many of my peers, Lenny, and it hurts me to my heart. They don't change with the time. But look at my dance producers. Who do you see? Tell me, name one dance music producer. This is no knock on none of them that can compete today. That can go out here, look young, look fresh, still have talent, have something to show for it. All these guys, they're living up in one studio apartments, no money, not knowing where the next dollar is coming from, with nothing. And you give your soul to this business, and you wind up with nothing. There's no pension for us. There's no pension. So unless you reinvent yourself,
that's right,
Lenny, unless you figure out other ways to make it, you're walking dead. You're alive, but you're dead. You're not going to make it. So you have to get technology. You can't do business how business was done in 1980, 1978. You can't.
You can't do business done in 1999. You talking about 1978. Forget that.
This, I don't mean to go off the subject, Lenny, and I love you. Watch this. Guys call me, hey, Darryl, old time. Yeah, I'm dropping a new single tomorrow. I start laughing at them. You're dropping it where? Okay, everybody's got technology to throw something out there. Where are you going with it? Where are you going? What are you doing? You have no money to promote it. Can't go to radio. You have no social media. You have no marketing dollars. You got nothing. You just throwing stuff out there, be throwing stuff out there.
Well, you're going to have to explain that a little bit, to how the difference was that you did very little back then and got a few DJs to play things opposed to what the system is today, an algorithm-based operation.
Yes.
So can you explain that to these people that are watching?
Back then in our time, we had what they called, as you know, we had record pools. There might have been 20 to 30 top record pools, IDRC, with Eddie Rivera. May he rest in everlasting peace. Judy Weinstein, SOS, Real Record Pool. These guys, if they got behind your record, they liked it. You sold records. You said you sold units. We would go to record stores. We'd go to Vinyl Mania. We'd make the rounds. We had a new 12-inch record. I would go to Rock and Soul Store. I would go to Downstairs Records, Downtown Records, this store, that store, and get it played. Let people know that this is the new artist we're putting out. We would go to the clubs, see the DJs. It was more personal. It was more personal. You would see people. Now nobody sees anybody. You know what? Back in my time, when you seen a record producer, Lenny, you could look at him. He's a record producer. Now, you look at these guys out here today, you don't know who's a record producer anymore because nobody has the look. It doesn't even look like, nobody looks like a record producer anymore. Whatever happened to that? None of these guys from my generation never changed their image. They look like a bunch of old men. They're tired. Change your image. Change your look. Try a new hairstyle. Put on some fresh clothes. Fix yourself up. Look like you can do something today. But if you're looking old and tired, who's going to do business with you? It's a young people's business. And I'm old, but I'm not going to work with a bunch of people with all due respect. I'm going to work with the young people. Work with the young people. You can do it. You can do it. Just change with the times. The New York Yankees, you're not going to put guys on the team that's, 60 years old. You got to go, you can make a commitment to the youth. And that's what it's all about. But
people don't get that. They don't understand that. So you got to be really careful. And I've talked to some of our elders. They're even a little older than us, a lot older than us. And I also, I'm not as forefront as you are. I'm going to be a little bit more like, well, you kind of have to do a few things. But if you don't understand today's business, that's all algorithm based,
right,
meaning that you don't even have to have any talent. But if you have millions of people following you, you can have a hit record just from that streaming. It's crazy.
Watch this, Lenny. What I loved about my time, you had at the record labels, we call them record people or music people. They loved the music. They nurtured your career. They had departments called artist development. I said to them, nobody knows what that is today. Artist development, what the hell is that? Nobody knows. They gave you touring support. There was sections in the music labels where they gave you touring support. They pay for your equipment, your PA systems, They would help you tour. They would help you do TV shows. Now, nobody does nothing for you. There's no such departments anymore. There's no love of the music. Now, at least back in my time, the music industry was ran by music and record people. Now the business is ran by accountants and lawyers. They have law degrees and accounting degrees. All they know is numbers. Now you're just a number. How many Spotify copies? How many Spotify followers you have? How many TikTok followers you have? How many people are engaging? That's all it is. And you got the numbers, you get the deal. You don't have the numbers, you don't get the deal. It's real simple. It's real simple. So we have, and by the way, I started a new music label called Streamworld Entertainment. We have, 3 or 4 artists we've signed. We've made music videos. I pulled back from promoting it until like beginning of January. We're going to put substantial money behind it. Timing is everything, and we want to do it right. I'm too old not to do it right. I want to do it the right way. And we're going to give these artists the support, that they deserve. And also, I want to give a shout out. We lost 2 of our artists, Lenny. 2 people we worked with over the last 2 months. A big shout out to Raheem Howard, who's one of the dancers with us. He's part of the Vern Williams family. He's in our music videos. Big shout out to Jay Wills. He films all of our music videos. He passed away suddenly about a week ago. Peace and may their spirits living forever. And those gentlemen will be missed. Listen, I have a crew. Look at me. It's like I'm the older guy laying out of the bunch, but they're my guys. They're my guys. I just hope that that people can if you have problems, you have things on your mind, talk it over with people. You're not sure about things. Talk it over with your loved ones. Let's not make rash decisions because you just lose people that you spend time with every single day. It hurts. You almost feel like you failed them for Christ's sakes. So, everybody, let your loved ones know that you love them.
Right.
If you have problems, please discuss it. But big shout out to Raheem, Howard, and Jay Wills. You guys are loved, man. I mean, these guys are young, 27 years old, 32 years old. the whole lives ahead of them, and just much love, man. I just feel like I don't even sleep right at night because of this, because it bothers me, But I love these guys, But we're gonna keep pushing forward, Lenny, And I'm hoping and believing that we can create new magic. What we've done back in the day, that's great, but we want to push forward. We want to create new artists, new legacies.
You have to. What else are you gonna do? What else are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Right.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna stop? You're gonna stop now? Mm-hmm. Why?
That's right. And you know what? And I feel like also there's a lot of unfinished business from my standpoint. A lot of things musically I wanted to do that I didn't do. So this is one time we're going to try to do it, and we have the capital and the infrastructure to do it.
The marketing capital is so key.
And the technology, because I own technology, and you can go to streamnettv.com and see it. We have streaming channels. We have our own. We have 6 people working full time around the clock developing technology. You have to be able to compete. You can't go nowhere if you can't compete. You have to have the resources to compete. You're going to get very frustrated. You're going to be so frustrated. You need the tools. Like we said to me, hey, Darryl, you need a tune-up for your car. I said, okay, Lenny. And you give me a toothpick for the tools, I can't do it. But if you give me the equipment, give me the right bloody tools, I can give you a tune-up for your car and you'll be on your way. Same thing with the business today. Let's change. I say to my old school, my OGs, change with the times. Them days are gone. We can remember them. We have great conversations like today. But adjust, change your looks, change your attitude, learn about computers. Listen, let me tell you something. I try to send artists royalties, right? I can't even send them money.
They don't have PayPal. They don't have Venmo. They don't have nothing.
Listen, I get a headache. I said, why they even do this? It's like it's brain damage.
Yo, can you come bring me the cash? Please. You're like, But wait, okay, so I got some serious questions.
Yes.
I don't even know where to begin. Yeah. Frankie Crocker, the chief rocker.
Hollywood,
baby.
Hollywood.
He made and break a lot of people's careers, man.
Yes, he did.
And I know you're I know you're part of that game too.
Listen, that gentleman, a lot of you artists hear me out from back in those days. Frankie Crocker not only helped make my career, but a lot of you too that are listening. And he deserves some fresh flowers on his grave every month.
I thank him all the time for all the things he did for all of us.
He was and that's just it, Lenny. New York City, Frankie Crocker, they were leaders. They broke records. When they got behind something, you had a hit. Everybody watched what New York City was doing. And Frankie Crocker led the pack. And he was brilliant. New York now has become a follower. Everybody follows. No, New York is a follower. A hit is a hit everywhere else. New York is the last place to break something. It shouldn't be that way.
Can I explain that to everybody why that is?
Because I believe the main problem is, radio stations like radio chains or conglomerates like Clear Channel programs all the music from a central location. Each program director in each city or radio station can only program 3 songs himself. So if you got 35 songs in a playlist, the guy at the station can only program 3 songs. So you got all these clowns trying to kiss the radio program directors behind to get their songs played. But you got to realize, you're not Sony. You can't give away PlayStations as gifts for the radio stations for promos. You can't give away big screen TVs. You're not Universal where you get trips away to Disney World.
Yeah. What are you giving away?
What are you doing? You got nothing to give away. You got nothing to give to nobody. So your music's not going to get played. So you got to go to Clear Channel and say, hey, listen, this is what the majors do. Hey, Clear Channel, we're Universal. We're going to spend $10 million with you during this quarter. Here's what we want played. We want this, in that order. And you don't stop playing until I tell you when, because the stations make their money from advertisers. That's how the game is played. So all my comrades, you got no chance.
Did you hear that, everybody? What he just said? They dictate the show. They dictate. It's not the other way around.
That's right.
Now, wait. Now, let's go back in time. Let me put you back in the spaceship back.
Yes.
Roll the tape back. Yeah. So there was a thing called payola.
Yes.
And he's at these record labels. So what happens there with guys like Morris Levy? They want to push, and they would say, "We're going to push the button on this record." What does that mean?
Here's how this worked. Morris Levy, to his credit, had you, no matter which way you went, he won. You know, everybody knows that he was involved with the Genovese and the Colombo family. It's public record, so don't stick me up, don't shoot me, right? He was sentenced for it. He was convicted of it, racketeering. So that's public record. But what he did that was smart and what people didn't know, not only did he have the DJs in his back pocket, he owned the manufacturing plant. A lot of people didn't know that Morris Levy owned a manufacturing plant that was pressing up the records for the major labels. The major labels didn't know it. And what Morris Levy did, he owned a chain of record stores called Strawberries. There was a big record store chain, which ended up being Coconuts and all that, Sam Goody and all that stuff. But Morris Levy had that. So records were going out the back door. So all the records that he was printing for Universal and for Warner Brothers and all this other stuff, all those records were wound up in his record stores, and he would sell the records and kept all the money. So not only did he control the radio, because he had the radio program directors in his back pocket, and what the radio stations would do, Frankie said, okay, listen, I'm going to go on the Carol Williams record, and we're doing 3 shows for my station. You had to come perform for free. If you didn't come perform for free, your music was not going to play. You went there, did the show, you came and did the interview, you had a hit, you went to work. You did work. So we had to play that game too. When Frankie Crocker calls, the 90.7 KISS calls, WKTU calls, you had to do their shows for free. And then the radio stations collected all the money at the door. So they'll get 2,000 people there at $10 a piece. They made themselves 20 grand, 20,000. They kept all the money, the radio stations, right? So think about it. So they made money by giving these parties. They had the door. They paid off the radio stations. Well, the radio stations were being, then Morris Levy had the manufacturing plant pressing up all the damn records.
So it's a constant win-win for them and lose-lose for you.
Exactly.
So you're going out, you're pimping the artist, taking it to the gigs, doing everything.
That's right.
Never get any money. That's called promo gigs, everybody. Promotional gigs.
Right. Listen, Lenny, I've said this many times. People have heard me say it. And I don't mean to be a repeater. I break the music down this way, Lenny. Here's real talk. The music labels are the pimps. The artists, the music producers, the singers, songwriters, were the prostitutes. The people that go to the clubs and stream the music and download the music and go to the concerts, you're the trick. That's what this is. That's how I sum up this whole business. It is never going to change.
So simple, 42nd Street, the pimp is right behind you. You're working the car, and you're just doing the job.
And that's what it is.
So how much money you give them? Well, they take all your money.
They take all your money, right? Guess what?
And give you a couple of cents back just for you to maybe go get a sandwich.
Let me ask you this, Lenny. Listen, Lenny, I've sold millions of records in my career. How come I made more money not making music than I did making? I made more money not having hits than when I had hits.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you next thing. You said this now like this. You went, I'll take my 10 records and put it up against anyone pound for pound.
Anybody.
And we're going to tell you this. This is from me now to you as an endearing producer to producer DJ. They are some of the fucking greatest records of all time.
I appreciate that.
And we all and I see a lot of people, Kevin Hedge from BLS, they're all here. Molly Mall said the same. They were all shouting out to you. Brother, they love you. They're all there. They're all there in the chat. Here's the question.
Respect, Molly Mall. I love you, brother.
Oh, yeah. Molly, everybody, they're all saying, what's up? They love you. From Queensbridge and all that. Okay. Darryl, you're all over the city, bro. We know your name like synonymous.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
What happens all of a sudden? It's like poof. You disappear.
Yes.
See? You hear what I said? Poof.
Yes.
What happens?
What happens to what?
Why do you all of a sudden decide to either stop or change gears? There's a deciding factor that happens.
Here's what happens.
Please share it.
I've produced over 6,000 records that have come out, that have been released. I've done that. And, feel free to go to DarrylPayne.com. There's a discography tab in the right-hand corner. Hit that. Just hit it. You'll see over 100 pages worth of credits, and you'll see around 6,000 produced releases, right? I've owned labels called Classic World Productions. I never went away. I've had over 500 albums on a back catalog label I own called Classic World Productions. We produced over 500 albums. We were selling hundreds of thousands of CDs a week to Walgreens, to CVS, to Best Buy. Well, that was my business. We had an office warehouse in Aurora, Illinois. I owned a building, and trucks would come in, and we're moving goods all over the world. I was in partnership with BMG for years. I bought the rights to the Judy Garland show. Pine Entertainment was my partner from 1999, 2008. I've done deals with Sony Television. They were my partner selling the Judy Garland show on television. So I've never stopped making deals. We're right in the middle now of closing a deal with P. Diddy. Right now with Revolt. We're doing big business with Revolt TV. Big shout out to P. Diddy. All my people there, James Brown, Mr. Dave Duff. I love you, man. I did a deal this year with Mark Cuban, right? So I'm still dealing, and people, they deal with me. I take care of business. It's great to take bows from back in the day, but I'm here for what's happening, today. We want this new money out here.
No,
today.
we know that. No, we know that. But you got to understand something. You being as a forefront hot producer in the dance genre, all of a sudden, you don't see any more of that. You know what I'm saying? What makes you say, F this, I ain't doing this? Or what makes you make the gear change?
Because I wised up. When you're doing something so long, right? You get tired of it after a while. You want to do other things. You want to do bigger things. I want to be able to collect the money myself. When I'm producing for other labels, they're collecting the money from me. I have to go and chase them for the money. Listen, I believe in the Don King theory of business. The money comes here, then it goes down there. Once the money goes down there first, it's never going to make its way back up to you. So my thing is to own rights, own television show rights, own concert rights. Because of John Diaz, we own concerts by Sting, Meatloaf, Metallica, Lenny Kravitz, the Fugees, Busta Rhymes, Tribe Called Quest, Tears for Fears. We have the only concert by the Cranberries ever made. It's all here. We have all this stuff right here. So we're coming out with music channels, concert channels, streaming channels. It's about, I did that. That was for that period, and it was great. But it's got to be bigger than that. It's got to be, it's got to be more to it than that. I'm 61 years old now. There's so much more I want to do with my life. By God's grace, hopefully in 4 or 5 years, I can finally retire and just take it easy. But I'm still passionate, and I'm doing music again. I'm here myself. I have a recording studio here. We're here in Las Vegas. We have a 9-room office here in Las Vegas. We have recording studios here, offices. We're here. And by the way, to let you know, let the people know, I have about maybe 10,000 tracks never released. That's on the MPC 60. I'm coming out next week. It's been planned for the last 2 years. Finally getting to it. It's called Darryl Payne Rare Grooves Volume 1. We have enough for every month. We're coming out with all these rare dance grooves from back in those days. Because what I realized, Lenny, when I was younger, I knew I was going to be busy with business. So I wanted to record all my music when I was younger. So when I got older, I don't have to worry about trying to recapture something from back in the day. I already have it. It's just updating the sounds, put new singers on it, new lyrics, and away we go. So I have all that music. I never stopped making music. I have it all. But this time, the difference is, when I was young, we were chasing hits. The labels, here's 20,000, here's 30,000, here's 100,000. We were chasing hits. Now, we want to build catalogs. We want to own the catalogs. Content is king. Content
big time. Say that nice and slow for everybody.
Content is king. Your pension at the end of all these crazy years you put in this business is something you can sell that's of value. When you no longer want to be in this business, you want to sell it to the sunset, you have something you can sell. If you look at artists like Barry Manilow, he sold his catalog. Tina Turner, he sold his catalog. They sold their rights to their publishing, their rights. There has to be something at the end that you
The
can get.
rainbow. The rainbow end.
Yes, like Judy Garland, you have to, has to be a light at the end of the rainbow. We don't do that. Listen, it's sad, Lenny. It's unfortunate. All my guys, they got nothing. There's nothing to sell. Then you hear, oh, this guy had a stroke. Oh, Darryl, your buddy had a heart attack.
Well, this is the question that when you're outside the business, people don't understand. They don't understand the parts of the publishing, the writing. A lot of these like groups didn't write their songs. They had a team of people behind them. You happen to be in the pit writing and, part of that publishing that, you get a piece of that. So that's like a pension. But most people don't understand that, how does such and such have all these great hits and they have nothing? They don't understand.
I can explain that to you. Here's what happens. And it happens to me too. And by no means are these labels paying me all this amount of money. Not even hardly. Not even hardly. But I will say this. When you're a hot producer in the now, today, the labels will pay you because they need you. So they're going to make sure you get what you get. When you're OG like me and you had hit records back in the day, they have no need for you. So why should they pay you what you do when you no longer work with them, when you no longer talk to them? So they're not going to pay you. The labels that own these catalogs of all these hits, when they sell digital sales, they sell licensing deals for movies, or they sell for streaming, they're not taking the proceeds, what they're supposed to allocate for the writers and the publishers, their portion. They're just keeping the money. That goes for all the major labels. Even the publishers. When you do a publishing deal, you think those publishers, they're the worst son of a guns? You think they're really paying the artists that sign, the writers that they sign publishing deals with? You got to be kidding. They don't pay you nothing. And I'm an advocate for this stuff. I am an advocate that, you have to speak up for your rights. You have to speak up for your rights. You have to. Then they're never going to say to you, hey, man, knock, knock, who's there? And we got a check for you. They're never going to do that. They're never going to do that. So I rebelled, Lenny. So my thing is, well, they took advantage of me for many years. So you know what I'll do? I'll show them. So I'll go buy the rights to stuff myself so I can collect that money myself. That's how I looked at it. That's the only way to look at it, because you'll get frustrated. And what are you going to do? Go back to the same people that screwed you in the first place to give them some more music. So it's like getting screwed again for old time's sake. What does that make sense to? Why am I going to go back to those clowns? They already took advantage of me as a kid. I'm going to go there some more. Oh, okay, hey, I got some new music for you. And you know what? They call me. Hey, Darryl, you want to do a credibility deal? Oh, based on your track record, we'll give you a deal at Universal. Oh, we'll give you a deal at... But you're just going to get screwed again. Unless you're hot. If you're hot as a producer, you're producing hot artists, yes. Then they will treat you fairly. Then you can make some money with them. Absolutely. And let's face it, when a major label gets behind it and they want to break you, nobody can do it better than them. Everybody's got the technology today. Anybody can record anything. You could be sitting in the bathroom with a record on your phone and record tracks. Everybody can upload to any platform they want. Now it comes down to, number one, who knows the business? The business. This is called the business. And who has the best songs? Who has the best recordings? But the business. That's what it comes down to, knowing this business. You cannot do business if you don't know business. You just can't. You just can't do it. The game is won and lost in the business. Not even who's the most talented. Look at these NBA players out here. Guys sitting on the bench are signing $50, $60 million contracts. They didn't even play. Look at guys like, Dr. J and Larry Bird and Matt. Those guys didn't make, as players, nowhere near the money these guys make now. Look at the baseball players. You think Hank Aaron and Reggie Jackson made all the money these guys make today? These guys signed $300 million contracts with nowhere near the talent. And they get hurt. And when they get hurt, they didn't want to play anymore. Oh, I'm hurt. I'm not going to play. Oh, I'm hurt. I'll call my agent.
Like Yogi Berra and them played with broken bones.
Right.
And Phil Rizzuto and them sold suits in the wintertime at the suit store. Can you imagine that?
Right. They played the game. They played. Everybody, these stars, even these stars today, they're making millions of dollars, these artists. You know what they say? I'm not going to record the next album. I want to renegotiate my contract. These guys just paid you. You just made millions of dollars. You couldn't buy a bag of peanuts. He signed with that major label. Now all of a sudden you say, I'm not going to record this album. Oh, no. I want to renegotiate my contract. They're all spoiled. They're spoiled. How many artists died broke? Nothing. Not a quarter.
Could you imagine doing that back then? Oh, wait.
Right, go from there.
Wait. I got to change your heart right now. The record's out. It's blowing out. Nah, take it all down. Stop all the presses. What they would have done to you.
Oh. Forget it.
It's crazy, bro. What but you're talking real truth. I'm going to assume that you are part of what we call a true student of the Hard Knocks University.
Oh my God. Let me tell you, Lenny, I know I'm going to get going, but Lenny, I've paid a lot of dues and I'm still paying them. I'm paying them on a different level now. I'm not hungry. I don't have to go make a record deal. I don't have to have a hit. Our children are going to eat. Our family's going to live. We'll do okay. Nobody's going to hold a benefit for Darryl Payne. We'll be okay. When I was younger, we had to have that money in order to make it the next month. We had to have that. And there's so many talented producers. Talented. I mean, could you imagine a guy like Kashif? The guy called me a week before he died. Asked me questions. Hey, Darryl, how do you do this with titles and back catalog and selling to publishing and getting advances? These guys were having a hard time. It's not his fault. This guy had more hits than anybody in our circle. But where's the money? Nobody had money. Where's the money? For all your hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, we put our souls, we put our life in this music. We give our everything into the music. For these labels to not appreciate you, to not want to pay you your part. And these guys live like fat cats. And they sell their catalogs for crazy money. Let me tell you another thing. If it was up to me, if I had my way, if you've done a certain amount of music for Motown, and let's say Holland Dozier, whoever, that 10% of music from certain eras was done by you, when that company sells, you should get a portion of that. You should get a portion of that.
Right, in theory, but what do they get?
Nothing. They get their writers' royalties or whatever. Half these artists don't even know their names. The major label owns their names.
That's another problem.
They don't even know their names. It's and you would never believe. Let me tell you this, Lenny. Let me leave you with this. I feel saddened, and this is no disrespect to artists. I go to these classic soul shows, and I love these guys. I'm not mentioning any names. People ask for autographs at the show. Hey, let me sign an autograph. Oh my God, I'm taking pictures with so-and-so. The people in the audience have more money than the singers on stage or the stars of the show. Because the people in the audience, they work for the government, they work for the state, they were cops, they were teachers, they get pensions, they get money. These artists might work one show a month, 2 shows a month, might not work. They don't have the money that they should have. And they deserve better. They deserve more. And here's nothing that upsets me also. When we're doing our Legends of Classic Soul, everybody wants to holler, hey, Darryl Payne was in my... They all start screaming and hollering. But they never scream and holler at the labels that sold their music at the prime of their career. When they was really selling millions around, they don't say nothing to them. But to me, they can say something to me. So I just find that kind of odd.
Why is that? Why do you think that? Because I know you had to sit there and genuflect for moments.
Because you know why? Because they're scared of people that are not the same color as they are. That's why.
Oh, so in other words, they're calling out a brother to brother.
Yeah, right. You come to me, you can come cry to me about, oh, Darryl, you give me this, Darryl, give me. But the other guy's color, you say nothing to them. And like I said, they got you at the prime of your career. You don't say nothing to them. Never make a demand, never sue them, nothing. Never. Absolutely never. Never. But if it's me, oh, that son of a gun, Darryl, he's always like, yeah, it's a joke. And all I'm trying to do, you know what? I do this out of the love of doing it. I didn't need to do this. I was Darryl Payne, for whatever it's worth, long before I even did a Legends of Classic Soul. People know me all over the world, believe it or not. And I'm not acting like I'm all that, but I'm well known all over the world without producing concerts than anybody.
But we can't leave you without this.
Yes, sir.
Because 6 decades of knowledge is got to be summed up into this. A new kid comes to you, new artist, and says, Uncle Darryl, where do I start? What do I do? Because people don't understand the game. Like, you get it from both sides. You've lived the original dinosaur business, and you also live, and I call it the dinosaur business because it does no longer exist as what we remember it, the vinyl physical business.
Mm-hmm.
And you also understand the algorithm and Spotify business.
Mm-hmm.
What are you telling new artists? You sit them down. What do you tell them? What does Uncle Darryl tell us?
The first thing I tell you is go into the studio, be as unique as you can. Try to be different than what's already out there. The world doesn't need another Drake. They don't need another, NBA Youngboy. Be yourself. Do something that's unique. Get your numbers up. Get your Spotify numbers up. Get TikTok numbers. Get a following. Get a base. Because at least if you have a base and you have a core audience of yours that you can sell to, you can make a living in this business. And try to negotiate, good deals. Learn the business. Learn that this is, this business ought to be called, not the record business. It should be called, or the music business should be called business show. Learn the business before you do a show. Learn this business. You have to learn the business. Most people don't even know what licensing means. These artists, most people don't even know what's a licensing deal. What's a 360 deal? They don't even know what the terminology is. They don't even know. And you're at a disadvantage when you don't know these things. Learn the business. Educate yourself about the business. And know how to deal with your own contracts. You can't even trust lawyers to negotiate contracts. So you listen to a lawyer who's representing you, who's your lawyer today. 6 months from now, 2 years from now, if you had a problem with that contract, he's not even your lawyer anymore. You have to understand what you're signing yourself. Understand what you're signing, know what you want in your agreements, and make sure you have these things in your agreements to protect yourself. You only look at the contracts when there's a problem. In my office here, I have 2 rooms dedicated with just files, contracts, thousands and thousands of deals, right? And we're digitizing, we're putting on Dropbox, we're putting on hard drives. But you always want to be able to cover yourself with paper, the contracts. You cover your butt with paper, having yourself organized. Most producers I know, they don't have none of their contracts. They couldn't, you even want to sue somebody, say, where's your contract? I don't even know where it is. They don't have their masters, they don't have the contract, got nothing. Right?
And where do you begin with that? What do you do when someone comes to you and says, yo, man, yo, Uncle Darryl, I need your help, bro. Well, wait, I need to see paper or JPEG. Let's say, send me the JPEG, email me the master. I don't have that. What do you do? What do you do?
Right. They don't have it. A lot of people don't have it. They just don't have it. Learn the business. You can do it. You can do it.
How the hell you learn? Remember the book? The Business of Music book? You remember that book? Come on.
That's right.
You remember that book? The big brain book, right?
Yeah.
That book doesn't hold, you can't wipe it behind with that book today.
No. It's a different day. And that's why I say, you change be today. Do things the way it's done today.
Darryl,
yes.
On the epitaph, when I say your name, Darryl Payne, how do we want to remember you? How do we want to remember you?
I will say, as a person that was a part of the dance music community, hope you realize and feel that I gave you whatever I had, whatever was there. I gave it my best. I tried to make you dance, and I wanted people to be able to forget about their troubles for that night when you was in that club, and you felt the energy in the music. I tried to really put energy into music that I wrote and produced. I wanted you to feel it, and I gave it all. I gave it all. I mean, I gave you everything. I mean, Lord knows, I've given it up. I've tried, and I might not be the most talented person in the world, but I gave you my best.
If you bullshitted your way through it, you did a good job. I'll tell you that, because you did a lot of bullshit to get there.
A lot of stuff. And still going through it.
I bet you are. I bet you're having to correct a lot of stuff. Are you going to write a book about all this? Are you getting ready to?
Yes, I've been offered, to do a couple of movies on my life story. So we're going to be talking to producers about that and people that have been engaging to discuss that. It's an amazing story. I've been kidnapped in this business at gunpoint. I mean, there's so much more to this, which I won't even get into in this conversation. I've been through it, man. It's, and I've survived it, and I love the music. It's all about the music. And it's just all about the music, man. That's what it is.
No, we know that. And that's what we love about your story, because it's so real. And of course, you can't tell everything. We want you to write that book. Mm-hmm. But one thing I wanted to, just one other last, because I know you want to go and we don't want you to go, but we want to hold you as long as we can. What's the one record that you heard, that you made, and where was it, that changed your life and said, holy smoke, I made it?
I think I'd have to say my three favorite records. I'd say it would be three. One would be Thanks to You by Cinnamon. And big shout out to Barbara Fowler, the lead singer. We have a brand new Barbara Fowler coming out in 2 days. Listen, we're going to give it to you. Barbara Fowler, big shout out. Much love to you. But I would say Thanks to You.
Congrats on Barbara Fowler. Congrats. Yes.
Beat the Street by Sharon Red. And I wish she was alive today. If she was alive today, she'd be making a lot of money, because guess what? Her music is radio. I hear it every day. I turn on the radio.
So do I.
Fans email me all over the world. If she was working and performing, it'd be bigger, because she'd be performing over these many years. So she hasn't been here. But big shout out to Miss Sharon Red and her sister, Annie Ford. Much love to you. I mean, she's an amazing talent. And I would say the other one is Never Give You Up by Sharon Red. Classic, just anthems. And I Need You Now. I Need You Now, an absolute anthem. Those records excited me. Just, I Need You Now. No News is another one. Beat the Street, Thanks to You. It's All Right. Those songs, On a Journey by Electric Funk. Those songs really, when I hear it, it's like, wow. I look back and it's like, wow, did I do that stuff? Wow.
Oh, yeah, you did it.
Wow. And when you see the young kids, they call it boogie music in the UK. You see 22-year-old kids dancing to this music. Like, they wasn't even born when the stuff was made. It's just a humbling experience. I would never believe that I would see this today, because it's so many years ago.
I'm just blessed to have you on the show.
My pleasure. I want to thank you for having me.
Darryl, write that book, brother.
Yeah, I got to, man. There's so many stories. And big shout out to my mom, Roberta Payne, the late, great James Payne, my sister, Cynthia Uka. Just thanks for putting up with me, my wife, my children. Thank you for
and your legacy. Brother, your legacy is bigger than you. The legacy is bigger than you are.
You know what? A lot of people, my family doesn't believe that. They know. The crazy part is my family knows nothing about music. They couldn't even tell you any songs. They couldn't tell you any. My daughter looks at me like,
what are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's my father. That's my dad.
That's my dad. That's all they say. That's all they say. They know nothing else.
But I'm going to say this also. Yo, your records were staples in the Paradise Garage. Changed the game, dude.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yo, that's ridiculousness. Like craziness. Forget about commercial status, radio, top 40. It's wonderful. Those records have dropped today. The crowd goes like it was like they're brand new.
Yes. You know what's funny? I'll leave it with this, Lenny. I would sit in the studio. I would say, here's what I did. I used to work on the sounds. Every bass sound, every keyboard sound. I worked to get the sound right. I would just go to a patch and say, we're going to use a sound. I said, now, what sounds can we use that will sound good 40 and 50 years from now? That's the way I did it.
Is that how you really thought?
That's how I thought.
You were actually projecting that. You were thinking what this is going to sound like in 4 decades.
Yes. And if I thought a sound would only sound good for 4 years, I wouldn't use that sound.
But what the hell would make the difference? How would you know? Was it your gut instinct or just a...
It's your gut. Once you've done this, as long as I've done this, you have a feeling for what sounds will sound old, like even snare sounds. Sounds that have reverb in it, pow, pow. It sounds old. Well, for all the reason I hear a lot of those Jim and Jam Lewis records.
Oh yeah, they sound dated, dude.
I cringe. I cringe because there's all reverb.
But they were talented mofos.
Listen, those guys are phenomenal legends. They're up here. I'm proud.
Yeah.
No question. But
I know what you mean. When you hear it, you go, "Oh, that sounds dated."
Right. It sounds dated. Right. I hear the Janet Jackson stuff. I hear great production, but the sound dated.
So secondly, so let's just say it like this: you would say it in more of a sense of like being intuitive enough to see into the future.
Yes.
Through what you're hearing, not even seeing. That's incredible, bro. See, that's unless you say that, because people were asking on the chat, do you use hardware still today, or are you using all inside the box? You kind of answered it now.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, we're recording on a regular basis. We use a lot of times real musicians on some of this stuff.
What? What's that?
We're even using real musicians. Real musicians. Big shout out to the Vern Williams and the Vintage Soul. Them boys be putting it down. Real bass player, real drums, real keyboards. Hey man, we coming with it. And by the way, this recording studio we have here, we have state of the art. Every keyboard sound you could think of, every drum sound, we have it all here. And we're shooting music videos in 5K, latest technology. And by the way, go to streamworldentertainment.com.
Make sure you get that, everybody. Make sure you get that.
Streamworldentertainment.com. You'll see all the latest music we have coming out. Big shout out to Queen Aries. We did a remake of I'm Every Woman. That's coming out today, finally. And big shout out to all the people we worked with. I want to thank all the DJs from all around the world that's helped support me on this musical journey. Without you and the radio stations and the people that buy the music, I wouldn't be here still trying to make something out of the city. So I just want to say peace and love and many continued blessings, and know that I love you all, and stay safe, and most importantly, stay alive, and I love you all.
Oh, Darryl, you're the best, brother. And we can't thank you enough. And if you got demos, I guess, he's probably listening as an A&R, because that's what his job is, to develop new talent as well.
That's right. If you have any good music, send it to Darryl Payne at live.com. You can find me on Instagram on Darryl Payne Legend. All right. So I love you all. And I thank you, Lenny, for having me. I really appreciate the time. It's been great. And anytime you need me, I'm here. You did a great job, man. And just thanks so much I'm honored to be a part of your show. I appreciate it.
Oh, man, brother. Thank you, Darryl. You gave us stories. I don't think anybody's ever really heard you speak like this.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And how many people you have, careers you have touched and helped start.
A lot of people. Yeah. And hopefully we can continue that.
That's what we want to make sure, that you're there to do that, because you're a visionary. You're definitely one of those, I would say, a visionary that we have to give ultimate respect and love. And Darryl, thank you again, brother. Peace, love, and harmony. Like Frankie Crocker said, one day more, one day less, of course. But with you, we would not be here. So
thank you, man. Thank you.
I want to thank you. Everyone, I want to thank everyone around the world for tuning into True House Stories. You know how we do it each and every week. And before we go, I want to shout out that we have a Chicago favorite coming on, one of the new school, not really new school, old school, but Ron Carroll's coming on. You know his Lucky Star Records. You know he sings. You know he DJs. You know he produces. He's on next week right here on True House Stories. We got the incomparable Ron Carroll, vocalist, DJ, writer, producer, kind of like Darryl, doing the thing, brother. You got to have different hats in this business to make it. And listen to what Uncle Darryl said. Know what you are signing. Know what you're signing. Darryl, thank you again, brother. Namaste to everyone. Good night, everyone around the world. Thank you, Darryl. Don't leave. And thank you all. You're all going to leave me. We'll see you all next week. Thank you.